Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome back to another Top 10 list. So obviously life points are very important to the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! In the anime world, in the real life world. In the anime, usually characters start with 4,000 life points, 2,000 if you want to go back to Duelist Kingdom, and there are a few exceptions to that rule, where in the real life game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Usually a person starts with 8,000 life points. But in this video, we are going to be focusing on the anime, all Yu-Gi-Oh! Animes from Duel Monsters all the way up until Vrains, and we're going to be looking at the 10 highest life point values that we have seen in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, and I gotta tell you, there have been some just unrealistic, astronomical amounts that we have seen in the anime, and again, that's what we will be going over in this video. So without further ado, the 10 highest life point values that we have seen in Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope you guys enjoy. Just making this list is our only Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains character, and that is Spectre with 8,800 life points. Spectre reaches this amount in episode 34 of Vrains during his duel against Blue Angel, Aoi Zaizen. In fact, him getting to this amount takes place on the very last turn of the duel, basically putting the final nail in Aoi's coffin, quite literally, since she temporarily died shortly after her defeat. Spectre only had 1,600 life points remaining, but thanks to his trap card, Sunbloom Doom, he is allowed to choose a monster he controls and gains life points equal to the total combined attack of those monsters' types. Since he had previously taken control of Aoi's Holly Angel, he gained life points equal to the attack of all fairy monsters on the field, which was a staggering 7,200 points. 1,600 plus 7,200 equals 8,800. And even though Spectre immediately takes damage from Aoi's reincarnation in Lycoris, the boost to 8,800 puts him just barely on this top 10 list. Shortly after this exchange, Spectre goes on to win the duel, and Aoi gets absorbed into the Tower of Hanoi. Coming in at number 9 are the Tyler sisters, Gloria Tyler and Grace Tyler, with 10,100 life points. A lot of tag duels in Yu-Gi-Oh! Usually have a unique set of rules, and the unique set of rules that took place in the Tyler sisters tag duel against Yuya and Shun is that the two teams shared one life point pool. Instead of all four duelists having 4,000 life points, each team shared 4,000 life points. This aforementioned duel takes place during episode 108 of Arc 5. It is definitely a slow climb before the Tyler sisters reach their peak value of 10,100. Thanks to cards like Amazonas Hall and Amazonas Hot Springs, the twins were able to basically restore any damage they took from battle, while gaining life points equal to Yuya and Shun's monsters' attack points. The final life point climb which puts them onto this list happened in the final turn. Yuya summons Dark Rebellion, which has 2,500 attack points, and this sends the twins' life points up from 7,600 all the way to 10,100. Grace and Gloria lose on an OTK the same turn their points get this high, but the effort was still good enough to earn them a spot on this list. Taking the number 8 spot is Noah Kaiba with 11,000 life points. Noah reaches this amount in episode 108 during his duel, which was originally against Seto Kaiba. However, Yugi ends up taking over for Kaiba, who Noah turned to stone, and it is against Yugi when Noah's counter reaches 11,000. Towards the beginning of this episode, Noah activates Sebek's Blessing, which raises his life points by the total amount of damage Yugi took during his turn. This boosts his life points from 8,200 all the way up to 10,500. Thanks to his continuous spell card, Spring of Rebirth, Noah gains 500 life points every time a monster returns from the field to the owner's hand. Yamada Dragon returns to Noah's hand after the Sebek Blessing activation, which gives him an additional 500 life points, thus bringing his grand total to 11,000. At one point later in this episode, Noah actually leads this duel 10,000 to 100 in terms of life points. Had it not been for the most disgusting Heart of the Cards moment ever, Noah probably would have went on to win. However, 10,000 life points is no match for Yugi's draws, and Noah goes on to lose this duel despite the massive advantage he held against Yugi pretty much the entire duration of their matchup. So instead of having a traditional 7, 6, and 5 on this list, these next three characters actually all tie for the number 5 spot with the same amount of life points, 12,000. The first one is Dr. Faker from Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. Unlike the previous entries on this list, Faker did not get his life points to be this high due to an effect or a spell card or anything like that. Towards the end of Zexal 1, in episode 69, Dr. Faker takes on Yuma, Kaito, and Shark in a 3-on-1 duel. Faker states that he will start with 12,000 life points since he is taking on 3 opponents. Meanwhile, Yuma, Kaito, and Shark each share 4,000 life points. Faker does not raise his life points any higher than his original 12,000 since he immediately uses this massive life point advantage to special summon monsters and gets out number 53 Hard Earth on his very first turn. At least Faker made good use of the life point advantage. 12,000 is good enough to put him in a 3-way tie for the 5 spot on this list. Another member of this tied for 5th trio is Rex Godwin from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. The final duel of the Dark Signers arc was a 3v1 duel. Godwin took on Yusei, Jack, and Crow. This duel begins in episode 62, and much like the Faker situation, Rex Godwin also started this duel with 12,000 life points. The big difference between this duel and the Faker duel is that Yusei, Jack, and Crow all have their own individual 4,000 life point counters and don't have to share one life point pool like Yuma, Shark, and Kaito did. Either way, Godwin and Faker's circumstances on getting to 12,000 life points might seem like a loophole for this list since they started with that amount, but it still qualifies in my opinion. Godwin's life points never rose above 12,000. Nevertheless, he earns a T5 spot on this list. Finally, the last character that reached 12,000 life points was Jose, or Jacob in the dub from 5Ds. This number was obtained during the Team New World vs. Team 5Ds duel at the end of Season 4. After the first 2 members of Team New World lost, Jose took over and actually defeated both Jack and Crow pretty swiftly before losing to Yusei. During his first turn, Jose was able to almost instantly raise his life points from 4,000 all the way to 12,000. He did this thanks to a big assist from Luciano and Placido. By using the speed spell Takeover, he destroyed Infinite Aura, which had 80 counters at the time. That's right, 80 counters, and thanks to this speed spell, Jose gained life points equal to the amount of counters Infinite Aura had times 100. 80 times 100 is 8,000, which means Jose's life points got boosted to 12,000 almost as soon as the duel started. A pretty great strategy from Team New World, I have to admit. Even though Jose finds himself in a 3-way tie on this list for the 5 spot, I definitely think he earned being here way more than Godwin and Faker. I mean, both of them started with 12,000. It almost feels like an underwhelming way to have that many life points. But either way, Faker, Godwin, and Jose all tie for the 5 spot on this list with a respectable 12,000 life points. If anyone told me when I first started this channel that Mad Dog would be in the top 5 of a video, I would have cracked up laughing. But that's where this list has taken us. Coming in at the number 4 spot is the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Underground Duelist Mad Dog, who reached 15,000 life points during his duel with Hellkaiser, Ryo Marufuji, Zane Truesdale. Mad Dog uses 2 cards that let his life points reach this amount. The first move he makes is activating Contingency Fee, which lets Kaiser draw 3 cards. However, for each card Kaiser draws, Mad Dog gains 1,000 life points, which brings his total up to 7,000. A few turns later, Mad Dog activates Slime Ball, while Ryo has his power-bonded Cyber End Dragon on the field. Slime Ball not only destroys Ryo's Cyber End Dragon, but then adds its 8,000 attack points to Mad Dog's life points, bringing his meter up to a crazy 15,000. During this duel, Mad Dog had a massive 15,000 to 150 life point lead, just for the record. However, during the same turn that Mad Dog got his life points to the 4th highest ever in Yu-Gi-Oh! History, Ryo netted a brutal comeback and ended up winning the duel and marked a new, brutal chapter in the story of Hellkaiser. Taking the bronze medal on this list is Darts from the original series. Darts reached 20,000 life points during his duel against Kaiba and Yugi, which concluded Season 4. Now, there are so many effects that take place on Darts' side of the field that got his life points this high, so I'm not even going to try and explain them. Just know that he hit this number in episode 181 after he had defeated Kaiba and right before the legendary dragons were summoned. Funny enough, Darts held the record for the most life points in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime for 7 years and 360 days. Basically 8 years until the silver medalist on this list shattered it. Definitely a really incredible feat. Darts would go on to lose this duel to Yugi in the following episode after putting his entire life in the hands of his serpent god Gay. Once Yugi destroys the serpent thanks to some crazy anime infinity combo, Yugi is declared the winner. The effects of this duel were always hard for me to grasp, especially on Darts' side of the field, but he respectably still holds a top 3 spot on this list almost 15 years after this duel has ended. Just a heads up, these next two are ridiculous. All the ones up to this have been somewhat reasonable, but Yugioh Zexal really took the high life points and attack points to a whole nother level. Coming in second on this list is Charlie Mckay from Zexal, who reached 100,000 life points. Yes, that is a six-figure number, and yes, it is only good for second on this list. Charlie reaches this astronomical number in episode 32 during his duel against Yuma. During his first turn, Charlie activates a spell card known as Take a Chance. This allows him to roll a die once per turn, and if that die roll lands on a 6, he can multiply his life points by 5. Well, Lady Luck was on Charlie's side for his first two turns. He immediately boosted his life points to 20,000 and then to 100,000 on his following turn after he got back-to-back 6s. Keep in mind, Charlie at one point had a 100,000 to 900 life point lead. There was literally no possible way he could have lost unless he gave in to greed, which of course is exactly what happened. Charlie went for another 5 times multiplier by activating Take a Chance. This, keep in mind, would have brought his life points up to 500,000, but unfortunately for him, he rolled a 1 instead of a 6. This means that his life points go back down to their normal amount, meaning this die roll cost Charlie 96,000 life points, as his meter goes down from 100,000 to 4,000. Yuma ends up coming back and winning the duel, but Charlie's 100,000 life point reach will not be forgotten anytime soon, and will most likely always have a spot on this list. Unfortunately for Charlie, his record didn't last that long. In fact, it didn't even last through the duration of Zexal. Before we get to the record holder, let's quickly go over some honorable mentions. We have 2 characters that had 8,000 life points, and that is Marcel during his duel against Judai and Johan when Yubel was possessing him, and Zark during his crazy gauntlet duel at the end of Arc 5. We had Ray, who had 8,500 life points when she came on to defeat Zark during that gauntlet duel, and finally, we have Marik, who was just ousted by Spectre off this list not too long ago, literally like 6 months ago. Marik got up to 8,550 life points in his duel against Bakura, and only missed this list by a mere 250 life points. Holding the current record for the most life points ever obtained in a duel is the main villain of Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, Don 1000, who held a whopping 102,900 life points. Before I get into it, imagine being Charlie Mckay and losing this record by a measly 2,900 life points. I would be so pissed. But anyway, Don 1000 got to this number during his duel against Yuma and Shark, more specifically in episode 141. So how the heck did Don 1000 go from 900 life points to a crazy high 102,900 life points? Well, during the last couple of minutes of this duel, Utopia, who had 102,000 attacked Don 1000's Numeronius Numeronia. Don 1000 removed an overlay unit, which allowed him to gain life points equal to Utopia's 102,000 attack points, thus giving him 102,900 life points. The end of this duel from a numerical standpoint is just hilariously ridiculous, but I honestly love it. Yuma then uses double up chance to raise Utopia's attack to a crazy 204,000. Utopia attacks again, and in one blow, wipes out Don 1000's 100,000 plus life point counter and ends the duel. It's just an insane duel, and one of my favorites in Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. So, after over 800 episodes of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Animes, it is Don 1000 who is the current life point king with an insane record of 102,900. A record that we may never see beaten ever in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. And that about wraps it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the list, and hopefully I didn't forget any like I did with the top 10 highest attack points video, but if I did, please let me know down below. Researching and remembering over 800 episodes is a very daunting task, so mistakes are unfortunately almost guaranteed to be made. Regardless, please leave your thoughts down below and let me know if you think we will ever see anyone break Don 1000's record, or if you think it's a safe bet that his record will probably never be beaten. A special thank you to my Platinum tier patrons Alexa Baker, Christopher Johannes Bouska, Glen McGookin, Jorge Carrillo, and James Rose, and to my Diamond tier patrons Soledsnak and bouldergeist, and to my Egyptian God tier patron Syn Cloud. A special thank you to everyone who supports me over on Patreon. Cannot tell you how much that helps me out, and a huge thank you to everyone who just watches my videos, because without you guys, I would not be here. Thank you again so much for your support. I will talk to you down below in the comments section, and I hope you have an amazing day.